Hello and welcome. I am Kat. If you are new here, welcome. I am a brand and visual identity designer. I have decided to create this design series challenge as a way for me to challenge myself, I guess, as a designer. But I wanted it to be a space where I have the opportunities to explore and experiment, try new things, create new concepts, everything that can be found within an identity. So, whether that be a logo, an illustration, a full identity itself, pattern design, anything like that, you will find that in this series here. So, without further ado, let's kind of jump into today's prompt. I have the logo inspired by an emotion. I don't know if you watched my video where I revealed the prompts for the month of March, but within that video, I decided to go with the emotion mystified just because I thought that could be like a really fun and interesting concept, I guess. So I definitely at first didn't really understand like what it, I shouldn't say I didn't know what it meant, but I didn't know really what I was going to do with that. I was imagining I was going to manipulate the lettering themselves to feel mystified, but then I sat down because I wasn't really happy with that idea. And I thought, what else could I do with this? How much more could I push this idea, or how could I make it be a little bit more meaningful, I guess, for a logo to be mystified? And I think I came up with an idea that works. I don't have a set idea yet. I just have an idea of the direction or the overall concept of like what the logo could be, I guess. So this is what I have for my brainstorming session. It doesn't look like much, but it's just because this is all I ended up showing for the video. My idea is I want to have a mascot that is doing a human action, but I want it to be a little bit of a juxtaposition, if that's the right word that I'm thinking of. For example, I came up with the idea of like a fish rowing a boat. If I did decide to go with this direction, the idea would be that it would be for a fishing store, tackle store, anything like that, where they sell all the equipment and supplies needed for fishing. I also came up with the idea of like a cow mowing or a goat mowing, and I thought like that would be a landscaping company. Essentially, what I want to do is I want to have an animal character doing something that doesn't make sense, but I want the animal itself and the action to tie directly into like what the business is that the logo is representing. What I still need to do then is figure out and finalize what animal it is that I want to do, what action it is that I want them to do, and what business it is that I want to create for. And then once I get that figured out, I also need to come up with the name of the business itself. I have decided, so let me just give you some of the other ideas that I came up with. I came up with a mouse setting traps, so I figured that would be for an exterminator. I came up with birds washing a car for a car wash, and I was just thinking because you often find bird poop on your car, so I thought that was kind of funny. I started coming up with some other ones, but I felt like they were drifting a little bit too far away because like what I want from this is I want what the animal or creature to be doing is something that would, like, it obviously doesn't make sense, but at least like ties to them. So for example, one that like it didn't, I don't know, I just wasn't really having it. Like I had a moose having a fire, a bunny having a fire. I thought for a golf company, if I had a bird playing golf, just because of the term, I think when you get the ball in on your second stroke, I think it's called a birdie. I could be wrong. I'm not a huge golfer. So I thought maybe a bird playing golf would be kind of funny, but then it's not, I don't know, it didn't fit right. And then I thought if I wanted to do a resort, so I was thinking like a spa resort, maybe I could do like a giraffe doing yoga or like a pig having a mud bath. But then I just thought visually, that's not really something you'd want to see for a spa. Like I think the giraffe doing yoga would be okay, but I think the mud in the bath, like it makes sense because pigs like to roll around in mud to cool off. But I think for the representation of a spa, you wouldn't want to have a pig. It just didn't seem to fit right. I knew I for sure wanted to do something in the hospitality industry. That's definitely what I seem to gravitate the most towards. So I was thinking like, I don't know, like maybe a tourist attraction. It could be a theme park. I did like the idea of the resort a lot, but I wasn't really coming up with anything that I liked. So I decided to go with a campground. And I started playing around with the idea of a squirrel. So I thought, okay, well, maybe the squirrel is roasting a pine cone, or maybe I was like, the squirrel could be like camping in general, or just like camp, or like setting up a tent. But then to me, that just didn't really make sense unless the squirrel, I guess, was in a tree. But then it's like, I don't want the logo, of course, to be overly complicated because then there's legibility issues. Like I still want it to, of course, be a fully functional logo, even with a story being within the logo. So I thought having a squirrel in a tree setting up a tent would be far too complex. So I kind of dropped that. So then I started researching different kinds of fish that you find in lakes and the different kinds of aquatic plants and all that stuff because I want it to be within reason. Like I don't want to be like so crazy where I like draw like a random fish and like a random thing that they're doing and it doesn't really connect. Like I want that connection. So the final concept I came up with for this campground is I'm going to illustrate a grass carp and they are going to be roasting a lily pad. The business name, I am going to go with Wrong Turn. I think it works with the idea that like, because of course it's such a bizarre thing to see a fish, you know, doing human action. So Wrong Turn Campground, like it's kind of funny. And then I think being that it's a campground, it makes sense to have a little bit more play and more fun and more silliness, I guess, with the branding for this kind of environment. I think it works. So that is what I am going to be doing for this prompt. Okay, I have the different orientations in which the logo can be presented. I have quite a few, so that's great. That gives options, which is what you really want with a logo so that it can work within like different touch points. So let me show you what I have. This is not necessarily the type that I'm going with. I'm going to try creating my own, or maybe using the type that I have here, but personalizing it to fit more within the context of what I wanted to. But I just at least spent the last 20 minutes figuring out the different orientations. So let me show you what I have come up with and how they all kind of balance out. This is the direction. I think it works great. I think I was able to make it work in a lot of different compositions. So I believe the primary would be this one, of course. I think, I don't know, yeah, I feel like there's a lot of good balance. I decided if I did have an option without the word campground, this is how it would look. So I just kind of shifted the word wrong turn down. So then there's just kind of some nice spacing there, but without having to adjust the sizing of the fish guy. If I did want it stacked, I thought it worked okay to have him on top of the letters. That way he's interacting with it. There is this awkward opening here, but sometimes that works okay, honestly. Like depending on where this would be used, that works just fine. Like if this was on a shirt or something, like that wouldn't matter. And then if I wanted it in a different way, I could also do it in this concept. The only thing is like the word turn then did get a lot bigger just so that it could like so that it could like line up with the word wrong. But again, there's nothing there's nothing wrong with that. They still like the whole system would feel cohesive. So I think that works. And then the fish guy fits nicely beside them. And then these are the ways in which the more of like the icon could work. I think also I'd have options, like I said, with just the fish. But if I wanted to include all the letters, that is what I could do. So yeah, that to me, these all feel really well balanced. I think it works. I'm glad I was able to make it work in different concepts. So now I just need to, I mean, of course, I still need to actually illustrate the fish, and then I need to finalize the type, but I just wanted to jump on here and show you guys the different concepts that I'm going to be creating. All right, as it is, I think I have the word mark portion pretty well done. As you saw, all I did for this was I took a type that I liked some of the characteristics of. I just wanted it to be a bit more round and a bit more welcoming. And so all I did was I traced the letter form, but then I added my own like little personality to them. And I kind of added like more distinctive characteristics to them. And then I carried them throughout the different letters. So I think it looks very fun. I think it fits very well with like the idea of what this campground is trying to communicate. So I think that works really well. And then I did find a type to have for the word campground. I didn't end up illustrating that word. I just found a type and I'm just using that. I didn't do any manipulation to it, but I think it works really, really well with the word mark that I have created because the characters in the alphabet match it pretty well exactly. So it's pretty much the type that I have made, except it's a serif. So it's got like the extenders on the feet, like the end caps. And it's definitely not as rounded as I have made the word wrong turn. But of course, you don't want it to be the exact same. You want a little bit of difference. I guess I can just show you. But then it's like, do I give it away? You know what? No, let me just show you, I guess, what I mean by like they share similar characteristics. Here is the word mark that I created. And so here is the accompanying text that's going to say the word campground, but you can see the similarities within the forms of the shape. So the T's, they have like these drop down extenders, right? And the R, this leg kicks out, so it matches that. And the way the G is laid out is similar enough that it works. So there's enough characteristics within this type that I can make it work as a secondary for the logo. And this could also be used, if this is a whole identity, this could be what the type is for headers and all that good stuff. So yeah. And now I just need to start working on the fish illustration.
Your father's goodbye. Guess I didn't fit in that frame of your life, but I hope that you find all that love in your kids and your wife. Now you're playing with the big boys, finally got some big toys, making all your girls spoiled. Daddy's got it all solved. I was never your choice, but I hope you're happy. I hope you are happy. Now you're playing with the big boys, honey, with some big toys. You know your girl's boy, daddy's got it all, so how it's never your choice. But I hope you're happy, I hope you are happy. Now you're playing with the big boys, honey, with some big toys. You know your girl's boy, daddy's got it all, so how it's never your choice.
Alright guys, I think this is probably going to be my final check-in before the reveal. So I just want to tell you a little bit about like where I'm at, or I guess that's kind of explain the concerns that I currently have with the design that I am with as of right now. The fish is definitely throwing me off. I think a problem is I went too quickly into working in Illustrator. I didn't really actually sketch any concepts. I just did like that one brainstorming session. And I'm like, oh, that's probably easy enough. I can just like start illustrating him. But like the personality isn't coming through. And I think because the fish is like the main mystified, inspired concept of the logo, I really need to take a little bit more time with it. Right now, I don't like him. I think his head is too big for his body. I like these feet better than I had them. Before I had them so wide that it looked awkward in like the way he was standing. So let me show you. Like that's so wide, and I just don't think that really makes sense. So if you can kind of compare them. I think another thing that's throwing me off is like, it's just the body in general. I think I want to make it a little bit more slender, and then I need to make the head a little bit smaller. Also, so one, the fire looks good. I'm fine with that. I don't hate the way the lily pad looks. I just worry that, does it read as a lily pad? I was wondering if I should add some flowers to it, but then at the same time, I don't want to go too crazy with details. And it's just like, it's supposed to be over fire, so it's supposed to be wilting. Like, it's not like the flower is going to be like fresh and bloom. It would also be wilting. So like, how would you illustrate that with it being read well? Unless like you had it in color, which that's not what a functional logo is. Like, it should work in all black. I'm going to go back to the drawing board and actually illustrate the fish and the personality that I wanted to, in terms of like facial features, in terms of like texturing and stuff. So I think I need to stop working in Illustrator and trying to force it to work. And I just need to actually go back and do it like how you're supposed to do it. Sketch the concept first and then illustrate it in Illustrator. So that's what I'm going to do. But yeah, this will be the last update. This is the last check-in before the final reveal. So I guess I'll just keep carrying on. right, guys, it is the next day, and I'm going back through it, doing the editing as I normally do the next day, and I am so over the moon with this logo concept. Not only do I love how the fish ended up turning out, I'm really glad I took the time to go back and like refine how it looks and actually get it to a point where I'm happy. And I followed more closely to the actual characteristics of the fish that I was trying to depict. So, like narrowing his face and narrowing his body and just being more specific with how his fins look, it really helped to like bring the whole logo together. So I'm very excited for this. The colors that I picked, I think fit so well with the mood and the energy that I was trying to communicate. And now I'm kind of thinking this would be a fun case study. So I'm definitely going to add this to my list of ideas that I want to add to my portfolio for creating a full identity and like what I can do with this. And the great thing is with campgrounds, you can do so much stuff with campgrounds, like pamphlets, brochures, business cards, tent cards, anything. Like honestly, like you can do so much promo stuff. So this could be a really great opportunity for pushing more of the illustrations and all that good stuff. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to leave it with that. I want to say thank you so much for being here and watching the video. If you liked it, please make sure to like the video. If you have any feedback or any comments, anything like that, please feel free to comment on the video. I would love to hear from you guys. And if you want to continue seeing my design challenge series, or if you just want to see me working on other projects or just the day in the life of a brand designer, please make sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.